Hey top sellers, how's it going? Today sees me be able to do something I've not been able to do in a very long time. Today we're looking at a viewer request. Today's request comes from Bob Checkers. He's asked me to check out Shiftry. Now I'm going to go into this comparing Shiftry to Empoleon. Both their ability and their damage output seems to be relatable to me. And another thing worth mentioning is the whole fact that Empoleon has been in and out of the format. It's seen quite a few top tables, even if it hasn't won everything ever. So let's actually look at what Shiftry is. He's a stage 2 grass Pokemon with 140 hit points, the ability Leaf Draw, which allows you to, once during your turn, discard a grass energy and draw 3 cards. He has attack, Frenzy Dance, which for a grass and double colourless allows you to do 20 damage times the number of benched Pokemon in play. That's both yours and your opponent's. He's weak to fire, has no resistance, and a retreat cost of 2. Now, right away you can already see the parallel with Empoleon. Leaf Draw is a reworked version of Diving Draw. Frenzy Dance is a reworked attack command. Overall though, looking at Shiftry, the advantage that you can develop from Leaf Draw can actually outweigh Empoleon quite quickly. With 4 Empoleons in play, you've got the chance to draw 12 cards. No, sorry. With 4 Empoleon in play, you can draw 8 cards. With 4 Shiftry in play, you draw 12. So right there you see that one already beats the other. The thing is, with 3 Empoleon in play, that's 6 cards. You get the same number of cards from 2 Shiftry. So if you get a heavy setup going, Shiftry does net more advantage. The counter to this is the fact that Empoleon did gain access to Execute. With Execute having Propagate, you could have 1 Execute and use Empoleon 4 times. So 4 Empoleon play, Execute in hand, drop Execute, draw 2, Propagate, add Execute back to your hand, drop it, draw 2, rinse, repeat until you've gone through all of your Empoleons. Shiftry isn't as easy access. Shiftry requires grass energy. And yeah, I'll be honest, it's not an awful thing for him to require. We do have cards that can pick up grass energy from a discard pile. You're going to be running more than you need for the deck, because if you're on the bare minimum, you're never going to see it. So you can fuel this quite easily. Shiftry on the other hand, unlike Empoleon, you will probably need to run some minor energy retrieval. Now I'm not saying run 3 super energy retrieval, a full play set of energy retrieval itself. 1 or 2 energy retrievals should be enough. With 2 Shiftry out and 2 energy in your discard pile, 1 energy retrieval basically becomes draw 6 cards, and that in itself is huge. It's like, here's a trainer that allows me to draw 6 cards. There are supporters that don't manage that. And yeah, overall, I do see Shiftry being viable for its draw. Empoleon does well because it can accelerate through its deck. Shiftry can do the same. It can accelerate through the deck, and it does it slightly faster. Sure, Shiftry has a more specific cost, but that's to try and balance out the effect. Having it have the exact same effect as Diving Draw, but draw an extra card, means that, yeah, Shiftry obviously outperforms Empoleon. At no point do the Pokemon Company want to say, here's these 2 cards, this one's obviously better in every single way. Moving on from Leaf Draw and on to Frenzy Dance, this once again is a case of Shiftry has a slight limit on its damage output. Empoleon's attack command turned around and said, all Pokemon in play, so that included actives. Shiftry just benched Pokemon, so you're losing 2 Pokemon you can charge. That being said, you've doubled your multiplier. So instead of being 10 times, it's now 20 times. Meaning that you only really need 6 Pokemon combined over both benches to hit 120, which was Empoleon's cap. You fill your bench, your opponent fills their bench, that's 200 damage. You're one-shotting X's. You've got Hypnotoxic, have you got Verbank? Well, 4 benches. You're taking care of Mega X's in one turn. So the potential for prize taking is right there. Now, Attack Command does have that huge advantage of being an attack that can work for 1 energy, but Frenzy Dance is grass double colourless. You can fuel that with 2 energies. You can use a grass energy, you can use double colourless. Most of the time, an Empoleon's going to be set up turn 2. Not because of its attack requirement, but because of the whole fact that you have to play down the Piplup, wait a turn, Candy, Empoleon. So Shiftry is going to be in the same boat. You're not going to have a Shiftry out until turn 2. Plus you have an additional draw. So you can actually turn around and say, grass double colourless, that's viable. It's just as viable as Empoleon. Its recovery isn't as good as Empoleon's. You lose your Shiftry and you don't have an energy on any of the others, that's another 2 turns, so you'll have to stall out a turn somehow. Empoleon didn't have to stall out that turn. That in itself is just a change in playstyle. To be honest though, I think that Shiftry's additional damage potential makes up for the change in playstyle. It makes it so that he's actually coming out and saying, yeah, I'm a bit balanced. And that in itself is a good thing. Saying that he's a balanced card compared to his predecessor instead of saying, well, I just outperform completely. Shiftry does also have advantages that Empoleon doesn't have, but these come from outside the card itself. Shiftry requires grass energy, and as such you can run Virizion. Virizion X actually turns around and says, do you have any grass energy on you? Yes, okay, special conditions, not a problem. It also provides energy acceleration, meaning that your opening few turns you can sit behind a Virizion and just start putting, you attach 2 energies to Virizion. All of a sudden, you got Shiftry with 2 grass energies on it, or 2 Shiftrys with grass energy on and a double colours in hand, ready to load one up. You can start to actually build up your board. It offers you early game damage output, it gives you a bench sitter, it gives you something to ward away special conditions, and its acceleration. Why wouldn't we want to run Virizion in this deck? Empoleon itself doesn't have that. It does have Execute, it does have a card that turns around and says, well, 1 card draws you 8, and overall, yeah, that's a pretty big thing to have. Shiftry does have that support from outside of itself, it does have the Virizion, it does have the energy acceleration, plus it has higher damage output, meaning that it can one-shot quite a bit of the format. It can really punish your opponent for trying to go for a big setup. Full bench for you and your opponent means that you're doing 200 damage, and if your opponent only has 4 on the bench, that's still 180 damage, X's are still getting one-shotted. So if your opponent really tries setting up in a big way, then you can try and punish them for you, you can really push against it. And really I think that's all there is to say about Shiftry. It's got a lot of potential. Some people may say it's just a fun league deck, but to be honest I can see it being the fun league deck that makes it to the top tables at events quite regular, just like Empoleon did before it. And yeah, overall I think Shiftry can make its mark on the format. But that's all I really have to say. What do you guys think about Shiftry, and do you think it could actually make any kind of impact? As always, I look forward to reading your comments down below, and don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Until next time, I've been Writer Joey, you guys are the top percent. Peace.